Good time zone. And a happy birthday to all of those around the world. Turn that down. I still live. I actually feel way better. Truly was, I guess, a cold of some. After stream, I got like really hungry. I ate some food. And of course, all of my sinus issues went away. And they've stayed away, so that's good. It was very annoying yesterday. Trying to stream with it. Should get further in. Of course, now that I say it's gone away, I have to maybe sneeze. Or not. Good time zone, everyone. Get into this. We've got a whole episode to do. Wabam. What more announcements do they want from me? Another comic thing. Which, you know what, they did release a comic about the A1 team. I do want to read that at some point. Spoilers? The comic? I didn't look. Oops. I just turn off my eyes. Show people how to beat the boss. Oh, is that what it's for? Also, I did look. I clicked on the story score yesterday after stream and did see that episode 15 is the new act. We are officially in a new act, actually. So 9 to 14 was Act 2. Which makes sense. I wasn't sure though. But yeah, we are officially in a new act. What happened last time? Theresis is dead. And Omninom was recovered and given to Kazdal. And now 3 years later, things are business as usual. People are, mini operators are heading out on missions. The Ursus girls are heading to Ursus. A1's out going on a mission. Everyone's older. The doctors of Rhodes Island, though, have noticed some strange symptoms amongst those who were infected in Londinium. In fact, one woman, her infection's getting progressively worse and worse, but it's actually making her like healthier at the same time. Her assimilation level is through the roof. It should technically, she should be dead, but it's actually somehow keeping her alive. And we also have some story with some random girl named Herda, whom died in Londinium at the end of the war, assimilated into Oranginium, because she had oropathy specifically. She died of oropathy, assimilated into Oranginium, and now her consciousness has awoken on a spaceship. So that's a thing. She's talking to some robot. Brink of the abyss. How do you measure the depth of an abyss? The answer, and your own life, hang upon the same thread.
What blocks the way?
We're just going straight for combat. Okay, self-destructs. Worry-free cargo helper. Self-destructs when there's an operator nearby. That doesn't seem worry-free at all, actually. I'm very worried.
Che posto stupendo. Listening. I know what you can hide your fear.
Ow.
Son tutta orecchie. At least make me lose the code.
Ow.
I know what you can't hide your fear. Don't keep me waiting.
Easy peasy.
Sunt tutta. At least make me lose.
Oh,
the
Iness's shadow thing is like a record player? That's interesting.
Want a candy? Let animosity be gone at the flow. Mission accomplished.
Briston! Nice. Closure. I have the right to refuse the data module inspections and upgrades you're proposing. I will not be treated like Thermex and Lancet 2. You know very well that I am different from my colleagues. Closure's got a new outfit? Closure. The only non-playable character with multiple outfits. Honestly, like the other one better. Like the Victorian one better. Relax. I'm not trying to trick you into a module upgrade this time. Then please restore my power supply to my mobility module. I am restricting a respected scholar's personal freedom is really unbecoming behavior. Take a look at the expression doodle on my faceplate. It indicates how I feel. Angry. I didn't know those could change. It looks like it's written with marker. How does that work? This won't take too much time. Justice Knight is already lined up waiting at the entrance. Mr. Fritzen, I guarantee this maintenance will be quick. Alright, there we are. You've blocked me from accessing PRTS data. Blocked you? No, I just disconnected you from PRTS. To be more precise, I physically removed your reception module. Looks like that went well enough. I thought there would be some irreparable failures. You did that without any sort of planning? Well, how do you feel now, Mr. Fritzen? I recorded the entire experiment. You violated protocol. I will be discussing your negligence with Council shortly. With Council? He should go to HR. And then we'd actually maybe see who the heck's in charge of HR. Not to mention your reckless disregard for my life. She will hear about that too. Mr. Fritzen, please do one more self-check and then be certain you're not getting any transmissions from PRTS. You should just be thankful nothing went wrong. I checked and I indeed cannot connect to PRTS any longer. It's like I have blurred vision. It's very subtle. It's a very subtle feeling. I don't like it one bit. Perfect. Now we can talk, Mr. Fritzen. If I wanted to disconnect all the retrofitted operation platforms from PRTS, Would there be a safer way to do that? Something going on with PRTS? I refuse to speculate about such dangerous work. That would be no different than killing all my precious colleagues. What if we had no other choice? Please tell me what might cause you to draw such a conclusion. Have you discovered something? Is PRTS going rogue? Can the priestess see through PRTS? I wouldn't be surprised. Closure. Can you determine the root cause of the last few PRTS operation errors? The logs show that most of the errors were caused by human error, operational mistakes made by team members. This again. Either way, backup systems are being deployed as quickly as possible. The framework for independent terminal command systems have been upgraded as per Calcit's suggestions. I named it Zoot. Temporary admin permissions have been granted to the Doctor, Calcit, and Amia. And me, of course. A lot of the ideas I had when I first designed this system feel a bit outdated now. I really want to scrap it and start over, but Calcit shut down that application. We don't have much time left. Can we seamlessly switch to the new terminal command system? I'm still working on that. We still have no way to replace PRTS's current role in Rhode Island's daily operations. Much of our medical data and resource allocation calculations still rely on PRTS. But the biggest issue I'm facing now is how to construct a data center and energy hub reliable enough to support the new command system. Nothing comes close to what PRTS can do. Even while handling the massive high-precision computation Rhode Island requires, it still has power to spare. Unfortunately, I still can't make sense of PRTS's underlying logic. Even Zoot, which completely mimics its design, keeps throwing errors in weird places you wouldn't think of. What if we used Omninom? Closure. I reviewed the comments you added to my report, and the theories you outlined in response. According to Casdell Office's logs and experimental results, there is, at least in theory, a possibility that Omninom could function as a data center and energy hub. But yeah, that sounds like a terrible idea. I don't know if we should be storing all of our information inside the first Oranginium. That's extremely risky. But it's not like we haven't learned anything from all this. At least we verified that there's a possibility of us using Omninom for super long-range communications and data transfers. Even though she'd been informed in advance, Wishitel still freaked out when your greeting showed up out of nowhere. So Omninom could be used to the Oranginium. Like, I guess that makes sense. Like, Oranginium could be used to make the internet, I suppose. And the operators who went to assist Casdell, have they settled in all right? Everyone was surprised when they first got there. They assumed the city would be in worse shape. They found their footing quickly, and when the time came for Midnight and me to head back, it was hard to say goodbye to the new friends he made. Doctor, do we really have to keep sending people out to the various branch offices? I've never seen the ship as deserted as it is now. Flat voice. We've come to a mutual understanding, Closure. We're sending more personnel to the regional offices partly to reduce the number of people at risk in event of an accident on board the ship, and partly to ensure those offices can respond more effectively when needed. I know that, of course. I'm just not used to having to say goodbye to friends all of a sudden. I don't know when it started, but my schedule is packed with farewell dinners now. Once the risks aboard the ship are cleared, it will be up to you to decide when the operators return. If everyone is here, then we'll start the meeting. Also, don't forget to delete the voice recordings and data logs from today. Wipe them from PRTS. From here on out, every decision we make will shape the future of Rhodes Island. We've reached a consensus. If we want to guarantee the safety of Rhodes Island's people and assets, there are certain decisions we can't avoid any longer. Simplify the ship's structure. Yes, we need to segregate Rhodes Island's important resources and help the personnel stationed in the ship settle in. This will help ease the concerns of those stationed on the ship, while also improving everyone's response time in the event of an emergency. But, I still have some questions, Council. This means we'll have to dismantle the vast majority of the ship's structure. Dr. Katsit, did you accelerate Rhodes Island's defense planning only because of the PRTS's recent irregularities? The recent irregularities have made one thing clear. PRTS is slowly spiraling out of control. And as time goes on, this will only accelerate. However, PRTS is only Rhodes Island's terminal control system. If it's no longer in our control, then who is it taking orders from? That's assuming it was ever taking orders from us. Whoops. You're worried about internal threats. Amia, that possibility has always existed. I trust you, Dr. Katsit. Yeah, what a headache. What do you think, Doctor? I trust Katsit's judgment. She and I have already rehearsed hundreds of contingency plans. Okay, then, what can I do, Katsit? You've already played a big role in the ship's reconstruction. The mechanical structures connecting the different core areas have been almost completely replaced with cyclic hydrocarbon prefabricated materials over the past 5 years, which can support a certain degree of modular disassembly. A certain degree? The power systems on the lower decks and the uppermost decks cannot be separated for now. When Rhodes Island was first excavated, the limitations of available technology and other constraints prevented us from restoring it to its ideal condition. It wasn't until 7 years ago, when Closure and I drafted the blueprints for the restoration, that we discovered it would be very hard to modify Rhodes Island's structure. I am pleasantly surprised that we've managed to do as much as we did. The catastrophe warning system and the medical center are particularly crucial modules. Both involve technologies that are not yet ready to be disclosed, and are also the hardest to deploy. A-gear? It's risky, but well warranted. I guess we were saying, who could give us the technology? Question mark? But yes, it would definitely be Aegir. Leveraging Clementia's and Gladia's private channels, we won't even have to establish contact with the Aegir authorities. I can assure this matter is handled discreetly and properly. We might even be able to conduct technology transfers. I reckon that would make Warfarin happy. That is the path I believe we should take, Doctor. Aegir, look at all the factors. This is the best choice we can make. I will personally communicate with the Inquisition and Aegir personnel to ensure the safe arrival of our own personnel and assets. Most of our patients have now been temporarily placed in treatment facilities in various offices along with reinforcements. All that is left is for the remaining patients to be transferred to Aegir once the medical center is operational again. Leave this matter to me. The support vehicle for long-distance patient transport is already prepped and ready to go. As for the transfer arrangements for logistics and engineering, I talked it over with my people, and everyone was enthusiastic about temporarily moving to Kasdal. Many of them are old friends who stuck with us back then, and returning to Kasdal means a lot to them. Yes, I talked with Wishadel before leaving Kasdal. Babel will assign personnel to escort both our people and our key assets throughout the entire journey. We'll be flying the banners of Babel and the military commission. The mercenaries won't dare try anything. The militarized mining modules need to be handled with caution. A long time ago, I purchased a semi-decommissioned mining ship from Rembiliton and registered it under Rhode Island's name. The ship's mining module can now be legally transferred to the new mining vessel to continue operations in Rembiliton. At the same time, I placed an order on the market to buy the mining module. To hide our tracks? Making any major changes in the short term is sure to attract attention, especially from our rivals, who will use the opportunity against us. While calling it a refit and upgrade may be something most factions will accept, anybody with their own plans, the ones watching us more closely, won't be fooled. We need a few more sophisticated explanations. I stopped in Siracusa to resupply before returning to the ship, where I visited Vigil and Penance in Nuova Volsini. They helped me dig into the current state of affairs in Nuova Volsini. As long as the Familia are not publicly pressuring Nuova Volsini, City Hall will be able to protect us. I propose inserting a business department into the city by means of investment. Establishing a cooperative relationship with City Hall will counter both overt and covert maneuvers from competing companies. Doctor, what do you think? I agree. Perhaps we can establish some backup warehouses or supply stores. We can build a backup warehouse in Nuova Volsini as well. The logistics system of the city has changed a lot in the past year, and the port cargo's throughput is extremely impressive. With City Hall's cooperation, it will be easier for us to conceal the transportation and storage of important assets. Doctor, let me handle coordination for the rest of the supply or support facilities. There is one last painful task on the list. Everyone looks at the blueprints spread out in front of them as the command center falls silent. This is the key to everything we're doing. Calcit points to a region in the center of the blueprints. Abyss. I think they've mentioned that there's like an area that is not on the blueprints before. I don't think they called it the Abyss though. Abyss. On the blueprint, a new area has been added to what was once a blank space in the central section of the mid-deck. Abyss. Calcit has never told you what this abyss really means, but you still have a vague feeling that this area marked in the blueprint, this area that has never been recorded by the PRTS, is inextricably linked to you. Unless that's just where our sarcophagus is. A long time has passed since it was last opened. Even back then, when I had to get close to that place to bring back someone important, I didn't dare go near the deeper part, the one that's been sealed away all this time. Alright, yeah, so that's where the sarcophagus is. However, now I'm not even sure what kind of changes have happened in there. As I just said, if the PRTS and abnormalities have a specific cause, then the Abyss must be involved somehow. How do you think we should deal with this section? Sure. Thinking. I need to go there and investigate. Also, I kind of like... let's pull back a second. Even back then, when I did get close to that place to bring someone back, I did not dare go deeper, the one that's been sealed away all this time. So, is the priestess just been here the whole time as well? I mean, that makes sense, but I figured maybe she was somewhere else, or dead. But has she just been in stasis this whole time? But is able to somehow, or at least maybe a version of her, is what's controlling Orangenium. Dr. Katze, I can go with... I'll bring the doctor there myself. Amia, Closure. I need you two to make sure the surrounding areas are completely cleared out. Set up the first isolation zone around the abyss itself, then the second within 1 kilometer of the ship. Ascalon and the elite operators will stay aboard on standby. I need all other personnel on board to temporarily leave the ship and prepare for countermeasures. Amia, you and Closure must leave temporarily as well. Be prepared to activate our contingency plans at any time to deal with unexpected situations. What did they think's gonna happen? Did they have to do this when they opened it the first time to get the doctor? How long do we have? A mass migration like this will be hard to get done in a short period of time. 15 days. During this period, you need to complete a full-body data scan and comparative analysis, Doctor. I'll get it done. Dr. Katze, what is actually in the Abyss anyway? The beginning of everything and the end of everything. Calcit, I want to go to the Abyss and see for myself. Calcit seems to know why you want to do this and gives a slight nod. Alright. But please keep in mind, until we are fully prepared, we can conduct preliminary explorations on the periphery. I'll be careful. We can't go any deeper. I can't tell if getting closer to the core area of the Abyss will cause some unexpected changes. We are still some distance from the actual Abyss. I also don't have permission to open the way to the Abyss. I'm still trying, but at this point, I've made very little progress. So you're saying this is where I first woke up? Physically, yes, but your situation is a bit more complicated than that. Does coming here bring back any specific memories? Is that some sort of joke? Calcit shakes her head. I just want to confirm that you are in good health. After withdrawing from Londinium, our operations in Trimount and Milarium inevitably forced us to confront the history of this land, and your history. In the Originium assimilated universe, I caught a glimpse of my mission. The savior of this land, the destroyer of this land. Counts it. I cannot avoid it, nor do I have any reason to. Doctor, I stopped questioning your resolve long ago, which is the only reason we're here now. I have a theory about the true nature of the Abyss. She is here. This is why he chose to leave Amia and Closure out of this conversation. After all, I don't fully understand it yet either. Yes, but we would have had to prepare for it anyway, sooner or later. Amia is still young, but every new trial we face helps her mature a little bit as a leader. You can always rely on Closure's knowledge and skill, and she's taking more responsibility over Rose Island as well. They are all worthy of your trust and reliance. They will stand by your side for a long time to come. Of course. And so will you. But right now, we need to figure out what exactly is happening to PRTS. Our experience in the assimilated universe has left us with many unanswered questions. And ever since Teresa and Teresa's joined forces to seize the first Originium, I felt uneasy about what's to come. Perhaps she had already awakened when Omninom first arrived. But that was 3 years ago. I cannot be completely certain. It is very likely that Teresa used some method I cannot trace to cut off the controller from the Originium. They delayed her arrival. I'm afraid delayed is not the most apt description for it. Nonetheless, I must admit that they did something I never imagined they'd do, and objectively speaking, they bought us more time. However, we will eventually awaken from our beautiful dream. Yeah, so... They're really painting the priestess as a powerful figure. We know she's in Originium. We know she helped make it. We know she seemingly is controlling it, messed with it to do what it's been doing. But that was all while she's asleep, and apparently waking her up is scary. Which is also interesting from Kaltzit, because Kaltzit should know Priestess. I mean, Kaltzit was worried when she woke us up, too. But was hopeful about us. She's not hopeful at all for the Priestess. It's just like, yeah, no, the priestess is bad news. It sounds like we have to open the abyss. Indeed. After all, PRTS is still operational to this day. Its core server and power sources are buried within the depths of the abyss. We cannot touch them or analyze them. We can never be too cautious when dealing with such an unknown space. I'll share everything I currently know about it with everyone involved in the operation. Can I help you with anything? No, for the version of you that exists now, even approaching these hazy fragments of the past takes a heavy toll. And right now, I have no way to help you shoulder that burden. Go help Amia and the others. Leave the abyss to me. If you choose to trust me, that is. Of course. I just want you to know, you're not alone here, Kaltzit. Thank you for your concern. I understand. Visitor, Kaltzit. Hello, Kaltzit, we meet again. You look like you need my help. I do. Please search for a technical document, keyword, Slumber Bridge. Are you still there? I'm here. Sorry, Kaltzit, I still can't output the answer you're looking for. You have crossed the line. I know. But we need it, Teresa. The evolution rate of oropathy is accelerating, and the threat from Oranginium is increasing. Rhodes Island must find a more effective method to respond to it. I get what you're saying, but I cannot provide what you're asking for, as your request violates the underlying logic of, Civilite. But I do have a way to circumvent its limits, Kaltzit. Deep dive. Deep dive VR? Universe. Deep dive. What are you saying? And what I've seen, it's all beyond my imagination. I just have far too many questions and opinions about this kingdom, but... Language yours cannot describe, mine cannot either. Commonality, thought, existence. Hack your thought, hack your language. Though, thought is language. Follow me. The massive instrument instantly catches the Countess's attention. Her vision swims, the instrument distorts the light and her consciousness. To the Countess, it sometimes appears to spin faster than her eye can follow. Other times it appears completely still. No, it still appears to be moving very slowly, very slowly. She stops looking directly at the device that seems capable of devouring her consciousness, yet she still can't stop herself from falling over. The ice-cold co-traveler catches her. Thought resonance, and accept it, forsake resistance. Hear yourself. Death. The Countess instantly hears several different tones at once. She hears several foreign languages she can identify, Rimbilitonian, Ursine, Standard Victorian, and Gaulish, which she's only ever heard spoken by the clergy. But what she hears above all else is a strange language she's never heard before, a language made up of tones. Yet somehow she understands what the strange tones mean. Strange tone. Death. Beep boop. I understand you. How? Thoughts can be anchored, and words can be deciphered. Language is a tool, a right, and one of the key elements that helps us shape our existence. Enseta is one of the greatest inventions of our time. We've erased the barriers of language. We've bridged the gaps between civilizations. That symbol. An anchor for thought. The metascript that deciphers all known languages, and a tool for interpreting unknown languages. Death. That is the language that, up until now, you have thought the most about, Herda. Reincarnation. Just a reminder that the priestess was a linguist, right? This is how you all communicate. Communicating via voice is inefficient. However, it is very intriguing and a good way to express emotion. Many still stubbornly hold onto this tradition, deepening their emotional bonds with one another. I don't fully understand you. Can you tell me where we are right now? A ship that salvages death from the grave. We seek answers to the ultimate questions among the ruins illuminated by light, before the same destruction befalls us. Before death befalls us. The place you have visited, its master calls it Rhodes Island. The Countess is confused. She's no longer confused by the strangeness of her surroundings. She's perplexed by a different question. How can a god die?
Work's over. Time for a drink. Where's Texas?
They made a metascript that imprints like the ability to understand any language. That's interesting. That's cool. That's spoken through tones, apparently. Not actually spoken at all. They said the place you've been, but was Gerda ever at Rhodes Island? I don't know. Or just a different Rhodes Island. After all, it was named... Now, you know what? I forget... I think they changed it. I think originally it was like Teresa named the ship Rhodes Island, but then I think it was actually like it was already named Rhodes Island or something. Did they change that? I don't remember. But that being said, I think it was the ship. But otherwise, where did she get the name from, right? Because if she's connected to the Black Crown, then that information would have been stored probably from there. Unless, or not unless, but is the ship that Herda is on Rhodes Island? Because it said they were on Rhodes Island, but we don't have any reason to believe Herda has ever actually been to Rhodes Island, the land ship. A threat within. After all, enemies do not always come from the outside. Spot, Cicero, and Cruz. Wow. Is that maintenance helper lost again? Watch out for the oranginium on it. Don't let it get close.
All right.
I don't like the rhombus in the background. Stop, maintenance helper. Don't get any further.
I'll show them what I can do.
I'm getting strange commands from the terminal combat interface. Same here. What does this strange symbol mean? Process reset. Threat detected. Identifying target. Complete. Begin combat deployment. Prepare to eliminate threat. I love this. The cursor. The cursor. It's the PRTS cursor. It's actually a thing. God, I love Arknights. Hey, how did this maintenance helper get here? Instructor Doberman. Something's not right. I'm calling for backup. Be careful.
Freeze!
PRTS is deploying its own operators. We're getting attacked by drink machines. What's the situation here, Instructor Doberman? We noticed that the PRTS has been doing a lot of dangerous things without authorization. Intel dictates that the PRTS is bypassing permissions and deploying enemies to marked locations directly. But we can still stop it by deploying our own operators at those locations in advance, like this. Oh, okay. It got angry. High threat target identified. Modifying command. Reassessment complete. PRTS threw something in front of me. Is it charging up?
I'll show them what I can do. I'll show them what I can do.
Charging complete. PRTS is activating. It's a weakening node. When activated by PRTS, it weakens all operators around it while it remains active. But we can also activate it first to weaken the enemy. It will also have a longer duration that way. It costs DP to activate, so we'll have to be flexible about our approach. Eliminate all the remaining enemies.
Why can't everyone try to get along?
Yeah, fine.
I won't sleep on the job. Freeze! Mission accomplished. I think we did all right.
This is actually some of the best thematic mechanics I've seen. Like, it's not just like, oh yeah, the computer system's rebelling, but like the mechanics that you, the player, have been using to play the game, which have always technically, yeah, been represented by the PRTS system. That's what you use to like deploy operators and everything, is actually now being used in the game and against you is awesome. I love that. Team time speed requires you to pay attention to a lot, and we'll see. See how it goes. Origin of conflict. All but fragments written down in that endless book of cacophony. Time. You asked me why the first language I shared with you after our thoughts resonated was death. I really don't know either. Aboard this strange, colossal vessel called Rose Island. Oh, okay, yeah. The Countess can barely feel the passage of time. It makes her uneasy. Ever since the day she became infected, time has meant everything to her. Time will bring her death and perhaps liberation. However, the beings who dwell in this strange place, yet deny they are gods, seem utterly indifferent to it. Maybe it's because I was never been afraid of dying. Death is nothing more than a passage to a new environment. Rimbilitonian. Pessimist. That's how they would describe you in your own language, yes? A pessimist? I don't think so. The Countess blurts it out and regrets it just a little. She had agreed with many of the clergy's arguments back during those debates, but now that she's here, does she still need to think in those terms? Does she really care about everything she experienced before the collapse? After all, even time has forsaken her now. I once worked in a mine that seemed to be endless. To maintain efficiency, the overseer would kill or drive off any bothersome slugs. Oranginium slugs, a mine. Yes, those slugs are even weaker than me, and the mines were once my home. The overseer didn't expect that the kindest worker in the mine was secretly feeding or caring for the slugs they were trying to drive away, which only drew more of them into the mine. Eventually, the slugs disrupted the mine's foundation, leading to a collapse. But you survived. The slug's secretions fed me. In such a harsh environment, many of them lived short lives. Yet new ones kept being born. They gave me strength. Miners, or ingenium slugs, and yourself, but your story ignores the death of Terra, Hierda. You do not treasure your Terra? That's not true at all. In our language, Terra blesses us is a phrase that invokes something almost divine. You still have a very limited definition of life. I don't understand. You've showed me so many individuals, each starkly distinct from the next. You all feel love and hate just as we do, but yet are still vastly different from each other. Salvaging death from the grave, you all live united by a purpose that I can't understand. But why have I come here? That's a good question. The Countess ponders this question, but her intuition tells her that the answer lies with the person who just extended a hand to her. She looks out of the porthole at the top of the cabin into the cold, silent, endless expanse. The light from the distant giant sphere once again passes over the dead planet, piercing the Countess's eyes. However, despite her blurry vision, she spots a small silhouette within the light. There is someone out there in deep space. Is that the one I'm looking for? Someone out in the depths of space seems to hear the Countess's voice. A shadow within the light stirs ever so slightly. Unknown language. You're looking for me. One circle, two circles, the little dots are spinning in the darkness. They're accelerating, coming closer and closer. They rip a hole in the darkness, and a bright, blazing beam of light shines through. I extend my arms and embrace them. Core body temperature is elevated. Nerve blocker has already been administered. Body temperature rising rapidly. Prepare to administer muscle relaxant and replenish blood volume. Repeat the medication again, and let's start the operation. Dr. Warfarin, did I doze off again? Maybe I'm just really exhausted. Don't try and speak now. Your throat is badly injured. You feel like you went to sleep. Yes, I had a long dream. You didn't feel any other discomfort? No. Did something happen just now, Dr. Warfarin? Nothing major. Did you dream about anything special? Anything special? That's hard to say. In my dreams, there were balls of mud spinning around each other on black velvet. They are now big, now small. One moment they were smaller than children's marbles, the next larger than the whole of Victoria. Some picked them up and flung them back out. They started smashing into each other and bursting like fireworks, but the whole time I didn't hear a sound. Anything else? I also saw threads stretching from one ball of mud to another, each one made of light, and on every thread there were people running outward, racing along the light. I followed them. I ran to a white patch of earth. It was completely empty, save for a single stone tablet standing there. A stone tablet? What was written on it? Nothing, Dr. Warfarin, and that's when I woke up. What a strange dream, but then again you remember it quite clearly, which means your brain's memory module is still functioning properly. The more clearly you remember your dream, the closer you were to waking up when you dreamed it. As I see it, the fact that you were able to remember your dream is a very good thing. Say, I haven't seen Dr. Touch today. She has other matters to attend to. She told me to give this to you. Look. Huh? The spring, the gears, the hands, all of the parts that make up a clock. She said it would help relieve your stress. Dr. Warfarin, is Rhodes Island in some kind of trouble again? No, everything's fine. There is no trouble on Rhodes Island. Little one, you've come to the wrong place. Unsurprisingly, Beepy got lost. Oh, Beepy. Hiding in fear. Seems like Closure failed to examine your program modules. Little one, this item here should definitely not be on your maintenance list. The Goliath lifts it gently and examines it curiously in hands. Angrily spins threads. What a huge change. It was empty when Her Highness left. Now there are so many interesting people and things here, right? Ascalon? Tell them not to worry. I'll take care of the mobility layer. Okay. Ascalon, you seem in poorer spirits than you were when you returned from Victoria. What about all the people working under you? They have been dispatched to create an isolation zone outside the ship. I'm remaining on this ship, and that's sufficient. Rose Island does indeed need a blade that moves through the darkness, but that doesn't mean you need to consciously remain silent. Come chat with me when you have time. I have liquor here. Besides, I want you to tell me about Teresis. I witnessed the beginning of that heroic epic, and you witnessed the end. What we saw was very different. Okay. I'll convey your thoughts to Dr. Nami when they have time. The Goliath places BP in front of the exit passage. Stop wandering around. The mobility layer is dangerous. Don't underestimate that high concentrations of oranginium can do to someone like you. I'll keep my eye on the work here. That'll be enough. Runs away in panic. And B rolls away. Game counts it. What could have gotten you this tense? PRTS Operation Confidential. Escort Catastrophe Warning System Medical Center Core Components. Executor Confidential. Mechanist Logos Radian. Contact. Records erased. Range abnormal. Or situation abnormal. Enemy weapons technology exceeds mission parameters. Risk of exposure present. Possible enemy signal detection capability. Shutting down drone transmission temporarily. Logos, I'm counting on you for the drone's live feed. I'm ready. Circuits etched into oranginium through spoken words drawn by hand to reveal what the swarm perceives. Logos' bone pen hovers in the air, automatically transcribing the images recorded by the drone. Well, flexible vehicles buried in the sand. 31 armed militants. 5 sniper nests have already been marked. There seemed to be a signal isolation device in the tent, which the scanner cannot penetrate. All are carrying unidentified weapons, threat level unknown. Further on, site confirmation required. Radian, you're up next. I'm starting the drone recall procedure. In position. Wait a second. Can you see me? The bone pen taps lightly, its strokes weaving together the rough outline of a human form. Logos can make like holograms? That's crazy. Radian gives a tentative wave to the two people watching the feed, and even in floating text, their smile comes through clearly. We're standing by to assist you. It's no problem. In 90 seconds, your drone and I will leave together. On screen, Radian walks into the signal-blocking tent as if no one else is there, and the transmission cuts out. Bzz. Logos. We're ready to launch a full assault at any time. The incantations have already drifted on the wind to the edge of their camp. 10 seconds. 20 seconds. 30 seconds. Bzz. Done. All intel's been transcribed. I'll be back in a sec. It didn't create even a single stir. I overrode the visual signals received by each target's brain. Chances are, all they saw was a mischievous little sand beast slipping into the tent to escape the wind and sand. Mechanist, how goes it? Did you discover anything while passing the intel reports? All weapons have had their origins erased and have been modified to suit their operators. But I'm familiar with how they operate it. Doctor discussed its rather rare design with me just recently. They're from Aegir. Aegir? But the people who are going to interface with us, aren't they also? Regardless, the threat has been cleared. We must not yield to such a threat and allow it to interfere with our equipment transfer, nor can we create any disruption that could alert the personnel involved. The matter is of great importance and need to be resolved quietly. Quietly. Aegir. Did they get Aegir weapons, or are they just Aegir? I thought the Aegir were... They had their whole message of like, Do not be afraid. We're here to bring the world together. The RTS operation record confidential. Ensure the transfer of installation mining modules. Executor confidential. Misery Storm Eye Sharp. Contact records erased. There's no way. We're wearing special protective equipment to ward off our physical attacks. Or they're wearing it. This was arranged in advance. They even knew our personnel layout. Orchid, stay back. We're clearing our. They're clearing after. Orchid, stay back. They're clearly after our mining module. Figures. I knew I'd end up working overtime again. Spot, support my knight and catapult. Papuka, have you called for reinforcements? Yes, I called already. Orchid, be careful. Feudal. As for the others, there is no one else. Where is that sound coming from? I wonder if the PRTS is giving all of our enemies like data on our operations to try and ambush us? Is that what's happening? But again, I don't know why Aegir would be our enemy, unless it's just people who got Aegir weapons somehow. You really have prepared well. Unfortunately, you're not quite strong enough to handle arts. Oh snap, it's the missing elite operator. Mantra. No, that's not right. It shouldn't be you. Gosh, even your heart has gone silent. I'll deal with the injured. That said, Midnight is getting too worked up again. Orchid, I'll have to trouble you to deal with him. Leave it to me. The doctor guessed correctly. Someone leaked the details of our operation. Wrap this up quickly. Tow the backup mining ship to the nearest nomadic city and get the energy bay patched up. Then return to the ship at once to avoid any mishaps. Pith, are you our backup? The RTS told me it would be Misery. You followed a hunch. The last minute change in plan right before departure. I'm just worried that. I believe in you. Misery, Storm Eye Sharp, and such have other plans. Do we need to inform the rest of our colleagues via PRTS? No, that's not necessary. If everything goes well, I was worrying over nothing. If anything goes wrong, resolve the issue as quickly as possible and return to defend the ship. Last time we saw her was in Babel. Did we see her in Babel? Maybe. I just remember that they showed her in a music video before she was even in the game. PRTS Operation Record Confidential. Escort Logistics and Engineering Department members to Kazil. Executor Confidential. Touch Pith Mantra. Contact Hoduer Ines. Yeah, so the record that PRTS is like, no, they were supposed to, this is supposed to be Touch Pith and Mantra, but the doctor is like, yeah, we can't trust PRTS right now, so we're gonna switch it up secretly. How many waves of mercenaries have attacked us already? That's the 7th wave now. They may not be too threatening, but it's really strange how many of them have been attacking us every day this past week. We're only just crossed Castil's border. These guys do not fear death. They remind me of the mercenaries we met in Sargon. Faithless. Misery, what's taking you so long? We planned for you to be back by now. You should know that this place is quite some distance from the Scar Market. Even if I knew every shortcut around here, it would still take me some time. What has the investigation revealed so far? For the past 2 weeks, someone's been routing the majority of Scar Market's orders here through a network of outsourcers. There's no way to trace the client. They've covered their tracks well. In other words, there was just bad luck we ran into these mercs. For days on end? Probably not. They're not actively coming after us. I'm afraid so. It seems that not all the worries Doctor had before he departed were unfounded. Oh, it's fine. I believe she sounded like this. Everyone, there's news from the sentries. Another group of mercenaries is shifting toward opposition. There's a high chance we'll be engaging them again soon. Ugh. Misery, something's not right here. These unending waves of mercenaries don't seem to be trying to harm us. Instead, it's like they're trying to delay us. We can stay here and continue escorting the team. You can all return to the ship now. Don't worry, Fang. Some folks are going to find it harder than they thought to put their schemes into motion. The air is fluctuating. Is that wind? No, is that the life bone? Oh snap. High above the sky, a massive skeleton has emerged, stirring the dust of history and casting a vast shadow below. For many at Rhodes Island, it is their first time seeing the massive skeleton that once appeared during the chaos in Victoria. What a sight! That was a new operator. While investigating the Scar Market, I took a trip to Casdal to meet a few old friends. Let's leave the rest to them. We should go home. Yeah, I think it's trying. I think PRTS is trying to keep the elite operators away from Rhodes Island. Or maybe get them eliminated as well. But at the very least, keep them away. I've already silenced all communications in visible range. Engaging now. Their weapons counter my gear, but they offer little resistance against your bone whistle and incantations. Far from it. They just don't quite understand the rules of my speech yet. I'm curious about the thought process the Aegir's followed in developing such precise weaponry. And I'll grab a few pieces to take back and dismantle. I'll help you study them. Come on, you two. We're carrying out a mission here. There are at least 3 squads waiting in ambush up ahead. We can't take them all on. I'm afraid we can't handle this cleanly and quietly anymore. We'll need to tell our people to brace for the assault. Okay, duly noted. Let's just note this, that this is pre-Blaze becoming a caster. I believe they were both in the same year, right? Or maybe it's a year later. It was definitely like 1101 or 02. But either way, it is before, such is the joy of our reunion. Maybe the main story will explain why she becomes a caster. Hey, the reinforcements the doctor called are here. Radian, Mechanist, mark the location for us. The bad guy will be here soon. Blaze, check your communication devices. I synchronized our location with you. Acknowledged. Wait a moment. Ross Montes, didn't we agree I'd rush in first and draw their fire away from you? I'll control the arts. Finished. I've checked the signal in the surrounding area. They've all been cleared out. Who can tell me what this thing really is? It's a broken little handy. When it tried to self-destruct, I used all my strength just to stop it. The people interfacing with us are also Aegir's. Why are they attacking our people and equipment? That's what I want to know. Let Dr. Coutsett and the doctor determine that. Ensure that we return to the ship as soon as our personnel and equipment are safely transferred to Clementia. Or Clementia. Let's say Sha. We need to deal with these issues as soon as possible. And there are still other unknown leakers out there. This is just the beginning, I'm afraid. That's strange. Why is PRTS responding even slower now? Or is it just my imagination? This isn't right. No, let me check it again. PRTS output all back in logs in the past 2 weeks. No problems here. And no problems here either. No problems anywhere.
Let's keep moving forward.
Engaging. Go.
No problems at all. Yeah, actually, everything's fine. There's nothing happening on Rhodes Island. All right. I'm so used to seeing Flametail that I keep looking for Flametail, but I'm using Vulpes this time. Cold drink machines again. Well.
Let me double their trouble.
Flowers imbibe. The lady in suit and tie dance with her blade.
Apple pie!
You know, this kind of shows that maybe they could somehow create an adversarial mode. Like a player versus player thing.
So much negotiation. At least make me lose the coat.
Mine and Teresa's emotions. I'll manifest them here.
Not that I'm like totally into player versus player stuff. I say like they could maybe do it. Not that I would be like hugely into the idea, but they could maybe do it.
Your weapons are right at your feet.
Flowers imbibe. The lady in suit and tie dance
Ow.
with her blade.
Pass on your last words? No. This show has no disappointment, my friends. Need speed to succeed.
Ah,
Don't worry.
Divine judgment!
My toxins will slowly burn your life away.
you know what I hope? I hope at some point. I don't know if it's gonna happen. But I think it'd be really cool at some point. Because they've done something similar. If the hand grabs our operators and moves them around. Or like punches them. That'd be really funny.
flames of hatred still spread, I'll try to extinguish them, no matter how many times it takes.
Out the hand pushes. Yeah, there's like every once in a while the hand can just like punch an operator and it like insta kills them or something. Which insta kill elimination is a thing they've done. Or it could grab them and move them around, which teleportation they've done that before. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. Etched bone deep, humanity guards itself against everything. Fire, storm, cold, anything it can predict. But there is no way for humanity to guard against itself.
What blocks the way, I will burn through.
When were the seeds of this tragedy planted? Che posto stupendo. Soon to tell, hate and resentment have no place, but in a burst of autumn red.
Oh, the hand will probably place people on the left side. I bet they're gonna do that.
Okay, serious face.
I meant to place X yet, but okay. I guess we'll use Mulesies. Mock up auto meal distributor. A cafeteria meal distributor that is in beta testing. Summons one confused helper.
Monster.
Don't worry. My poison is not contagious. Honey to me. Poison to you. Honey to me. Poison to you.
Want a candy? Let animosity be gone with the flow.
Please, don't be scared of me.
It will, it tried to put a guy on a spot I already had someone on, so I think it's actually predetermined. To some extent. I guess that makes sense because it is placing the like summoners on this thing, so you can't stop them, so you have to deal with that mechanic.
So much need flowers imbibe. The lady in suit and tie dance with her blade.
Hiya!
Bad luck. You ran into me. Need speed to succeed.
Hiya! Taste like water.
Man, Mulesies is ruining PRTS this whole day. Every spot Mulesies is at, it keeps trying to summon someone. Nope, it's doing it again.
I will never let your guard down before the enemy.
Mission accomplished.
Doctor, Mantra and the others have already returned to the ship. Aircast was correct. Someone is targeting our mission. This instrument is from Aegir. Dr. Katse, can we discover anything about its remaining parts?
No. The Aegir Academy of Technology put a great deal of care into this delicate piece of equipment. Given their pride, I'll bet they made sure no one could ever crack their little handy. But the appearance of the little handy itself is enough to explain many problems. Doctor, do you remember the Joint Marine Corps? Of course. The reason you met with the Aegir was to facilitate cooperation. Both the Iberian and Rembilitonian authorities have responded to our call. The problem is that once cooperation begins, those subsequent developments could spiral beyond what we've anticipated. In recent weeks, the Aegir fleet has not only constructed ports in Iberia, but also established landing sites along the southern coast of Rembiliton. The Aegirs from the deep sea made no immediate move to land. Instead, they quickly carried out a number of operations, including hydrographic surveying under the banner of technical cooperation. They also quickly assembled a land patrol through a mix of hired personnel and official partnerships, relying on more neutral intermediaries to facilitate cooperation with land-based forces. They're saying the attackers are the land patrol. We're still only speculating, but right now the land patrol is the only one that fits all the evidence we've collected.
Dr. Katse, some consuls don't back Clementia, yes? But that doesn't prove that the Aegir are behind all of this.
No, I'm more inclined to believe that someone took advantage of the internal conflict within Aegir. The land patrol near the Iberian border, the mining ship being headed off in Rembiliton, the mercenaries on the Kasdalian frontier. The breadth of their deployments and the depths of their knowledge about Rhode Island's classified missions, that's more than enough to prove that Aegir isn't behind this.
However, there is no possibility of a rebellion within Rhode Island.
Unless you say that the computer's rebellion. I don't believe that will happen either. Doctor, do you think there's anyone else in Rhode Island who could do that besides us? I'm thinking.
That's right. No one else could do that. Dr. Kautze, the threats that Rose Island faces now are unpredictable. Dr. Warfarn also warned us several times the special patients she's caring for. Their conditions are deteriorating faster than she can control. Whether to save our patients or to respond to potential crises, we need more aggressive responses. I've reviewed the records Teresa left in the Black Crown. She also made major breakthroughs through her work on Civilite Eterna. I can visit Civilite Eterna to look for potential help, just like Teresa did. We must carefully assess the risks involved, Amiya.
Are you sure you're ready?
I cannot give you a definitive answer, Doctor, but I will never stop trying. Any advantage I can gain may help Rose Island progress further. I want to try.
I'll go with you.
Doctor, I cannot agree to such a risky plan.
Can Civilite Eterna link to my thoughts?
Doctor, that's too dangerous. No one else has ever done something like this before. I agree with Dr. Kautze that you shouldn't take the risk.
Kautze recalls the experience of her dear friend, which is not something she's happy to recall.
Yes, Civilite Eterna can do that. She did it before.
Teresa.
Doctor, your mind is incredibly complex, but you're not the only one at risk here. Amiya could be exposed to completely unforeseen shocks as well. I will not agree to this preposterous proposal. Dr. Kautze. Amiya, this is my opinion. I cannot interfere with yours and the doctor's final decision on this matter, but I hope you understand my stance.
We don't have to force anyone, we can give it a few tries.
But Dr. Kautze...
When it's all over, we'll apologize to her together.
I trust you, Doctor.
I'll leave the decision of when to stop entirely up to you. Let's start after I finish arranging the defenses. Muffled roar.
Are you worried about me? I'm not mad at all. Once again, we've arrived at a critical turning point. And last time, Babel met a fate most dreaded.
Can't read today.
Babel met fate I dreaded most. Turns out that I can't make sure everything is running on its ideal track, monster.
Raises claw. Rubs gently.
Our own limitations have begun to affect our usefulness in more important endeavors. We may be able to witness the changes of the stars and the untamed cosmos, but when faced with a real crisis, there's no different from any other creatures on this great land.
Dissatisfied growl.
Thank you for comforting me. I can sense your good intentions.
Anxious growl.
Yes, I suppose Amiya and the Doctor have already begun preparing to delve deeper into Civilite Eterna. I will not interfere with Amiya's decision. She is mature enough to make the most correct judgment. The Doctor isn't quite the same anymore either. Maybe I still have a glimmer of hope in my heart. Maybe this time the outcome will be different.
Subdued bow.
It is true that my own sanity is constantly warning me. Touching the Doctor's mind again, with the help of Civilite Eterna, is not a sound decision. But Amiya is right. We don't have much choice.
passionate cry.
Monster, I will protect the doctor and Amia.
Wow, a CG of Monster.
At this moment, Monster can sense even Calcit's slightest emotions. Ever since Calcit's latest awakening, Monster has been at her side. Monster is her companion, the symbiote she personally guides, and more importantly, herself.
Affectionate murmur.
You're wrong. I do not feel hopeless, Monster. I am delighted that the ancients overthrew the rule of the elders, and I am also pleased that Lugal Shargus set the starting point for a new civilization. I have made mistakes out of arrogance, but I have also regained my confidence by making dear friends. Maybe yours and my basic structures will always be alien to this land, but that doesn't mean we'll always walk alone. I have found my home in Rhodes Island on this great land. I have fulfilled her expectations, Monster. I have learned to love. I have found myself.
Moves confusedly. Wraps tail around Calcit.
I must protect Amia and the doctor. I must protect the true variable here. The future I cannot even glimpse. I have communicated with Civilite Eterna before, yet I haven't been able to break through my own limitations. But Amia can. Of that, Risa and I are certain. I'm sure she can pluck significance from the massive trove of data. With Teresa's blessing, she can do it. She is still Amia after all. I have seen her grow into a leader with my own eyes. Following in footsteps, she might find some words that one left behind. In the past, when Orangenium had not yet taken shape, there was an era when luminaries competed to argue with the epoch itself. Their wonderful ideas, born of a desire to celebrate and save lives, still persist. All is not lost, Monster. Terra has a chance, no matter how faint, to keep that hope alive.
Excited howl.
Me, no, Monster. I'm better at memories, remembering the history I witnessed, and have seen erased by time. I am not special at all. Calcit calmly inscribes the important info into Monster's spine.
Ah, that's what that is, okay.
If the outcome I fear most does come to pass, if the one I least want to see stands in front of us once more, protect the doctor, protect Amia. I will engrave this directive into your basic behavior strategy matrix.
Agitated howling.
Come, Monster, we still have work to do. If the threat does come, I must ensure that Rhodes Island is Terra's first outpost against the crisis. I will be your final safeguard.
Work's over. Time for a drink. Where's Texas?
So that's... we know from the release they did on Twitter's, yeah, she's leaving the information behind for Monster. So that's how she does it. I figured she just told Monster it, or wrote it down, but she's actually, like, implanting the data, the information into Monster itself. Will you try adverse? Once we're finished, I don't want to take forever trying to beat levels. It was using Sarkaz The Sark has like script thing. Yeah, there's double challenge now. Do we think the sarcasm script is because those words have power to them, shown by banshee magic and stuff? Is that what Herta's seeing on Rose Island? Is that script what Priestess created as a linguist? I'm gonna say yes. Moment of truth. Yeah, we'll stick with the main way I've been doing it. If it proves to be the less optimal way in the future, we can adjust. But I know there's technically like 2 challenges now. But I want to see the story sooner rather than later. Moment of truth. The only way of discovering the limits of the possible is to venture a little way past them into the impossible.
I've never tried to use the Black Crown to access your thoughts before, Doctor.
Don't worry, Amia.
Thank you.
She looks to her side at the beam of bright, warm light gently tugging at her hand. She shuts her eyes and slowly lets out a sigh of relief. We're in this together, Amia.
I don't know where this journey of ours will lead us, Doctor, and I'll protect you.
I'll protect you too, Amia. Under the watchful eye of Civilite Eterna, she gives your brow a light touch.
Your memories and emotions flow towards me. It's strange. They billow so gently as they flow, and the memory's edge is close at hand. What did Teresa see back then?
Amia sees you and Calcit and herself, and the many people aboard Rhodes Island. As she walks deeper, the boundary of that one memory comes within reach. Curiosity and concern nearly cause her to forget her mission. She wants to reach out to touch it. Touch upon the start of your memories. Fernabog, the sarcophagus, and Joe, weakly stretching out your hand.
Doctor, take my hand. It looks like there's other memories too. Why are they so blurred?
Because Teresa erased them.
Who was...
Amiya. You grab hold of Amiya. Were you lost?
I don't know. This is the first time I've ever dived so deep into someone else's mind. It's a very odd feeling.
Good thing I pulled you off. Didn't we say we were gonna let her choose when to stop?
Thankfully, yes. Now I can sense even the faintest of her thoughts.
I can sense yours too.
You sure are relaxed right now.
I've got nothing to worry about with you around, so what should we do next?
Hold my hand tight, Doctor. I'll protect you on the road ahead. Teresa taught me everything about the role of king that day. She awaits us at the start of that path.
I get what you're saying, but I cannot provide what you're asking for, as your request violates the underlying logic of Civilite Eterna. But I do have a way to circumvent its limits, Coutsit. Deep dive. Unfortunately, not even Teresa was able to penetrate this deeply. The risk was far beyond what she could bear. You're not here for answers. Then why are you so insistent that I access this data that is useless to you?
I have no way of knowing if there'll come a day that Amiya asks the same question. I hope that in the darkness she will find the way I lit for her. That was Calcit's answer to me, Amiya. Could I ask you to look through all of Dr. Calcit's access records for us? I would be happy to. Her every doubt, her every insistence that each and every time she left in disappointment, I will show it all to you, unreserved. You have dove into Civilite Eterna before, Amiya, but this time, what you seek lies far beyond your limits. It is a place where life on Terra cannot tread for the time being, but perhaps you will find the chance to touch upon this knowledge that is not yours. Because you have someone who walks alongside you. That doctor guy.
Of me?
You will quickly understand what I mean, Doctor. Follow me, Amiya. Follow me too.
Civilization's singularity. A great hallway of pure white circles around a central point that defies comprehension, the singularity. An unending stream of complex information flows from it, but the strands you manage to snatch hold are still within your understanding. Amiya cannot see the way you entered, but after an interminably long time walking down the corridor, she finds herself back where she started.
You noticed, Amiya. Stagnation of civilization does not mean it still stands still. It continues onwards, on time's linear flow, unable to turn back. All that life discovers and creates is doomed to fall into an inextricable cycle. Mathematics, physics, philosophy, theology, these theories and practicalities, among others, cannot inspire hope as they once did. The ascending spiral has failed. Life squanders its future as it stumbles blindly in the dark. So, this is as far as we go. Only as defined by Tao's current knowledge. It serves as a limit, yes, but it is also a safeguard. A safeguard.
Some kind of cognitive barrier.
Cognitive.
Like how we can't make sand beasts calculate wave dynamics. Even if we gave them all the data and formulae, all forcing it will do is hurt their brains.
As keen an intuition as ever, Doctor. But not entirely correct. Civilite Turner's enlightens life at a steady pace to bring it forward. It does not simply reveal fragments of the future, the seeker to create evolutionary leaps that violate the laws of nature and ethics. Knowledge cannot be unlearned, Amia. The dreamers who glimpse the true sky are no longer happy to slumber in ignorance on the ground. Information beyond civilization's cognitive limits will simply blind them to reality, a deadly poison luring them into annihilation's embrace, throwing their civilization into the abyss. And so this boundary was born. But why does it look so much like a prison made from some giant data server? It appears in a form your mind can comprehend, like how Civilite Turner appears as a black crown in the material world, unaccompanying you.
Interesting, okay.
To a minuscule ant, it is an Ouroboros river, forever unable to flow to the sea. But to a celestial body with those whose lifespan stretches to the trillions, it is a gravitational field that will stay with them their entire life, unfathomable, inescapable.
You walk towards a section but one step away from the void. The distant singularity at the core calls to you. So what I think is being said here is that the Civilite Eterna, right? The Civilite Eterna, it contains all of the knowledge of the predecessors and like the whole universe or whatever. Everything that they've perhaps figured out, right? And a species can access that knowledge, but it only lets them access it in a trickle. It does not just give them the full breadth of knowledge of the universe immediately. They have to work their way up to it. So right now, Amia can only access all of Terra's current knowledge as a safeguard. It does not violate the laws of nature and ethics just to create evolution, like to just immediately like evolve a species. So then it seems to be, I mean, they're intertwined, so like Eterna, Oranginium, they're intertwined, but it seems to me then that the information of Terra, the information that was given to life on Terra in order to make life on Terra, is actually from the Civilite Eterna more than it is from Oranginium directly. But again, they're intertwined, so. But describing it as a process that like it's kind of like the monolith sort of idea, where it's a thing that progresses the evolution of a species, right? Enlightens a species. So then I assume then that it's actually more Civilite that's doing that than Oranginium is doing that. Oranginium creates a simulated universe of the information, which was created to protect that from the thing that's coming to destroy everything. The demons. But Civilite is the outward expression of that, perhaps? Oranginium is the inward expression, Civilite's the outward expression. Although we know that Oranginium is working differently than it's supposed to. Maybe. I could be mixing that information up. Information washes past you like gentle waves, showing you glimpses of many fascinating sights. They are fleeting shadows of your past, a life you have lost and forgotten, stray visions of an unfamiliar era.
Be careful, Doctor.
Amiya tugs in your hand.
We don't know what will happen if you fall off this boundary. Are these what you saw?
What I see, you see.
The Oranginium slug egg went through the bridge between stars. So all these stories really did happen.
Yeah. The Oranginium slug egg, though?
When I was really young, met someone who was incredibly caring. That care was matched with a great weakness, but also a stubborn insistence in carrying me across a road laden with Oranginium shards. When I was dizzy with fever, yet too scared of nightmares to sleep, a patient voice regaled me with stories I had never heard before. In a dark and cramped cave, difficult to find ore samples were smashed without the slightest hesitation, and the shining stones were scattered across the walls, and used to tell me tales of the stars in the heavenly paradise above the clouds. Would you like to hear one of those stories, Doctor?
I'd be happy to.
There was once someone who drove a mysterious vehicle shaped like an Oranginium slug egg on their lonesome, who went through the bridge between stars. One of the most quiet nights, guides would borrow glowing clouds from old stars and make round mirrors out of them to light the way. On the other side of the bridge, spires faded in and out of the clouds, and the stars were worn, or the stars wore crowns of flowers. When descending on that crown, you'll see that it's a really big playground, one where lovely little children gather to play. But it was hard for the vehicle's driver to stop. Drivers changed over the most The driver changed over to the most miraculous vehicle on hand, and it drove it for many, many years. But the years came to an end, and nobody was left. Nobody but the driver.
Do you mean me? Amiya grips your hand tightly.
Yes. Thanks to my infection, it's hard for me to remember much from that time. And there's a lot from those stories I don't understand. But I will do everything I can to remember every single one of your stories. As they are my stories. Tales you told me too. Or tales you told to me. I don't want to forget them. I never thought today would be the day I finally get to share your gift to me with you, Doctor. This time, we witnessed it together, you and I. I got to know this past life of yours once more.
Thank you, Amiya. What is that story, though? So... guides would borrow glowing clouds from the old stars and make round mirrors out of them to light the way. People would take energy from old stars to make new ones? Maybe round mirrors, maybe Dyson spheres? Would make Dyson spheres around stars, perhaps? On the other side of the bridge, spires faded in and out of the clouds, and the stars wore crowns of flowers. When descending on that crown, you'll see what it's really, a really big playground where lovely children love to play. Star wore crowns of flowers. Maybe a ring world? Maybe. Not sure. And then the doctor got a spaceship and flew around the universe alone.
Do you long for this kind of life, Doctor?
Which kind of life? The life of being alone in the universe? Not sure about that one.
You don't. Strange. It was such a beautiful life. One without the pain of oropathy, without conflict or war, where children could live their lives in joy.
Maybe I didn't want to show you the crueler sides of things. There's always two sides to life, Amiya.
Maybe you're right. The cruelty behind the happiness, the joy behind the suffering. We've experienced it all ourselves. I'll admit, I shared those wondrous stories with Teresa, and she was just as amazed as I was. She always hoped that everyone in Castle, no, in all the lands, would have chance to experience such a life. She did her best to see it come true. I can't let things slide back, Doctor. There may come a day that Rhodes Island will be able to see this beauty flourish across the land.
So what's next?
Deep dive. The intact data stored within Civilite is decoded by the singularity and exported in a moderate and suitable format as information. However, Amiya on her own will not be able to break through the limits of the baseline logic.
Am I a special case then?
I am not certain, but the possibility is there.
I mean, theoretically, yeah, the doctor should be able to get deeper because they're smarter. They're just a smarter person.
But how are we supposed to get close to the information once it's exported? Forgive me, Amia, but I have no information on this topic. I will search through the clues Cowset left behind and sort anything that may be of use to you so that it is easier to find.
Perhaps we could build a bridge.
A bridge?
A bridge to knowledge.
Has anyone ever done something like that before? There's no precedent in the records. It's worth a try, either way. Then you must be aware of the risks. The closer you get to the singularity, the denser the information will become. You may experience it gaining mass.
We're gonna become more massive?
Information with mass. It is possible here, yes. It is also possible that information not yet fully decoded will flood into your mind and destroy it. And a destroyed mind means
Death. Unknown language. Don't mind me, traveler. I am simply watching yet another bout of destruction is all. Herda. That's your name, right?
Did you just say my name?
I don't know whatever language you're speaking in at all.
Also, how did you know?
As the Countess passes by the porthole, it sees the figure on the out in the darkness of space slowly approach the ship, then disappear from our sights.
Who is that Ray Distorter?
Fervent singing. Beep, 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 beep.
Is something wrong?
There is not many of us who like her. Sorry, traveler. I simply can't handle being in the same room as her. If my friends saw this, they'd give me the cold shoulder because of it too. When the bewildered Countess snaps out of it, she finds herself the only person in the cabin. Upon foreseeing the arrival of an unwelcome soul, everyone else made themselves scarce. What the heck? That is not what I expected. It's got like I don't know exactly what the depth of field is on this thing, but it's holding a spacesuit. Very cool to see, holding a spacesuit. Has the word drop on it. Okay. I don't know if the legs are coming out of the spacesuit or in front of the spacesuit, because the arms are behind the spacesuit, kind of. It's got hair coming off of the eyeball thing. It's got a tail. It also looks like it has rabbit ears, potentially. Its pupil is like either a binary star or like an eclipse sort of thing happening. Yeah, I did not expect this. I thought it was just gonna be a person. Then the Countess sees her. Mysterious elf? Huh? Like an elf? Or like Herda's understanding, like she calls the robots gods. Are elves like, I don't know. No, elves wouldn't be mythological though, because like they existed as a race, really. I don't know. I was gonna give it like a weird voice, but now it's doing like a goofy salute, so I don't. The vibes are off. I'll still give it a weird voice though, but it's goofy. But it still sounds weird. Don't judge a book by its cover, you know. No need to look so amazed. I learned how to communicate using long-distance resonance a while ago. At the very least, before destroying that odd race, I kept the unique language patterns they had evolved. Destroying? Oh. Do you detest destruction as well, our newly come guest? I am not too sure what happened, to be honest. It's nothing too complicated. My people once ate stars to live. Others may hate us for it, but it's simply our survival instinct at work. Okay, just rereading. So learn to communicate long distance resonance from some species it killed. But now that past only exists in horror stories passed around the metaphorical campfire. My people are on the brink of extinction. I fear I may be the last of my kind, in fact. We destroy to live, but when true destruction finally bears down upon us, we are powerless in the face of it. From that point onwards, I have become nothing more than a beggar. With the aid of some geniuses, I have changed the method I use to obtain the energy I need to live. It sounds like you've been trying to blend in with other life forms too. So when you were out in space looking at that dead planet, were you reminiscing about the destruction you experienced? Is this an elf's true form? No. No. I don't know why it's called Mysterious Elf. I guess that's a hint, but like, no. The elves are made by zombie. Why would they be eating stars? maybe like a translation thing where it's like they translate it as elf, but it's not supposed to be the same elf meaning. I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe it is. Maybe these are elves. Maybe Milces is a star devourer. Maybe Fahrenmuts are a star devourer. Maybe this is a Fahrenmut. I don't know. We're reminiscing about the destruction. Reminiscing? Nothing of the sort. Everyone here has accepted the ruination, chasing us with serenity and hope in their hearts. Look, if Milces is a star-devouring monster, I won't think any less of her.
No need to make a scene. Don't leave bloodstains. They're hard to clean.
Hold on a second. All right.
You saw nothing. Moving to designated location.
This staff is bound to my thoughts.
Splendida giornata quest'oggi. So much negotiation. Why the rush? The road to the afterlife is crowded enough.
Active Oranginium? Why is there active Oranginium on Rhodes Island?
I'm listening. Don't. I will sink your corpse into shadow. No one will find it. Pass on your last words.
For training.
No.
That's fair. That's a fair argument.
Moving to designated location.
Son tutore, at least make me lose the coat.
Bad luck. You ran into me.
Okay, you can't block the aerial guys. Good to know.
Don't. You better watch your step.
Follow me!
So much negotiation. Why the rush? The road to the afterlife is crowded enough.
Need speed to succeed. Don't. Keep better watch your step.
Son tutore, at least make me lose the coat.
This will keep you quiet.
Whoa, those
Don't
guys
worry,
went
my poison is not contagious.
Moving to
Contraction.
designated location.
Honey to me.
You can't hide your fear. Soon to tell. Why the rush? The road to the afterlife is crowded enough.
Are you hallucinating?
I see them. Pass on your last words. No.
The Countess has never thought that oncoming doom, especially one pressing down on their neck, would be something to be accepted calmly. I could never be so indifferent if I had to live through everything I loved being destroyed. I don't understand how you... It's not indifference, but instead a belief in the absolute equality of the universe. It's a shame. You arrived just a little bit late. The ship had just encountered a star going supernova several thousand light years away and made a smooth withdrawal. If you see that sight with your own eyes, perhaps you will understand my meaning. The instruments in the hall begin to spin rapidly until they are moving too fast for the Countess to see with the naked eye. Then she sees a multitude of lights and shadows appear and float through the air. I see a giant sphere emitting a deep, dark red light and a small indigo dot speeding across its surface. But it seems like it's the big sphere rotating around the blue dot. The one you call the blue dot is the pulsar that just went supernova I mentioned. The red star, which is gradually being torn apart, is its partner, now doomed to die as well. They once harbored many interesting primitive life forms. I have many fond memories wandering through the planets of that solar system. It's a pity they were snuffed out before they could see the world beyond the sky. Why are you showing this to me? Simply sharing the knowledge I have with you, traveler. One-sided paranoia and ignorance are often barriers to effective information transfer. I have no knowledge of your history either. The Countess has barely had the time to comprehend these words before suddenly her newly acquired knowledge begins to assault her mind. The land may see life be born twice. These stars fallen from the sky can harbor life on their own. Runation's end is not despair. We're not special when it comes to the land. A celestial body that can sustain life loves all that live upon it equally, no matter where they hail from. This is the law of nature. Don't be too greedy in lapping up that knowledge you can't fully understand yet. I saw you among all that information. You once had many of your people by your side, but suddenly... the presence. That's what a lot of people call you, right? I am just a wandering presence, true. Like I said, when true destruction bore down on me and my fellows, I was powerless.
What exactly is this destruction you keep talking about? I've seen plenty of things here I can only describe as fine acts. What could possibly threaten people like you?
I'm afraid that nobody on this ship can answer your question, traveler. In your eyes, we possess knowledge that many life forms in this universe would consider divine acts. But in the boundless cosmos, even we have limits to what we can explore and investigate. Are you disappointed?
Well, there's definitely no eternal kingdom, a paradise where everyone can experience endless joy and happiness.
Would you like such a place to exist? The Countess hesitates for a moment before nodding. Nothing lives forever. Looking back through history, I know I have come across legendary civilizations that have conquered countless star systems, spreading across the cosmos for millions of years. But as far as the universe cares, what they left behind was in the end utterly insignificant. We once blindly chased after non-existing principles and ideals, but in the midst of that golden age beyond recollection, we believed our existence to have a sure purpose. But in the end, any life form born with intelligence insists on declaring itself the center of its world, but whether or not it is right in the universe's eyes. From start to finish, we are nothing. This is the first thing you must learn before you can understand it. Remember that brilliant supernova you just saw. From that doom, life will be born anew, and there will come a day when those beings will understand what we have carved on our grave. That we once had lives of our own, that we existed.
I don't understand anything that you're saying. How were we born on this land? Was there an even more glorious civilization before us? Are we going to be wiped out in the foreseeable future? What I really want to know is, all this pain and suffering that Oranginium brings with it, can it be eliminated? I beg you, show me the way to the answers I seek.
I cannot answer any of your questions. Your first three have been asked in a myriad of languages, in a myriad of ways across the universe. Only you can answer them. As for your final question, I am terribly sorry, but I have never heard of this Oranginium, and I can't find anything related to it in our databases.
Huh?
However, I do know someone rather interesting who also happens to be the master of this ship. Perhaps she will be able to solve your riddle.
The master of the ship?
She's a linguist of wide renown. Her name is... See, I thought Presence was going to be the priestess. Priestess. But then it became Presence, and I don't know what Presence is. Is Presence just an alien? Maybe they're just an alien, you know? Just some alien. They've made reference to civilizations across the universe, so there's no reason why it can't just be an alien that's just hanging out. Although also we should take all this context that they're inside Oranginium right now, so it's not hanging out. I mean, I guess it's hanging out in the new universe, which seems to be in a stasis. If they're just like, yeah, the universe is dying, we're just kind of looking at things.
No time to be lost in your thoughts, Doctor. Grab onto me.
Did you see that, Amiya?
I can't break my focus right now. Weaving together a way to the singularity is incredibly difficult, even if Teresa were here to help. Did you see something, Doctor?
You see a familiar figure. Hey. Go, Doctor. Go solve your conundrums. Keep focusing, Amiya.
I will. I'm doing everything I can right now to stabilize the connection points, Doctor. Teresa has marked all the records Dr. Kautzit searched through earlier. I'm trying to link them all together. But I still need an anchor point, one that can guide me back. I will watch here and serve as your anchor. Press onwards, Amiya.
Oh, snap. Pink silken threads begin to gather. The meandering threads interweave and spiral, gradually spreading out from the boundary into the distance. Beyond its walls, the path to the singularity slowly takes shape.
It's working. Oranginium arts don't seem to work here, but applying the logic behind casting them to the information here does.
Can you build the bridge using completely unknown information?
No. This place is full of information I can't analyze. Not even with the help of Civila Eterna. I wouldn't have been able to make this way forward alone. But thankfully, Dr. Kautzit's access left records, and with Teresa's help, I can grasp onto her research data. That's more than enough for me.
The pink threads continue to slowly spiral, linking together the many pieces of complex data that Kautzit left on her mark. String by interwoven string, the path forward gradually forms. I can tell how you are feeling, Kautzit. By analyzing the emotional matrix I constructed with you, or of you without your permission, I see your tenseness. It is not only because of my sharing an appearance with Teresa, you have something even heavier on your mind. I will try to adjust. I don't want my personal emotion and changes to interfere with the objectivity of those who come after me when they query these records. Yet they are still changing, Kautzit. Are you afraid?
It's not the most efficient way to build a bridge, but it should hold. I'm going to try to get closer to the singularity.
I'll go with you. Yes, I'm afraid. I'm afraid Ami and the doctor won't be able to find the information I leave behind, and I'm afraid that if the situation worsens to the point that they are forced to take such extreme measures, the trail I cleared for them would no longer be of use, or that I might mistakenly lead these seekers of knowledge towards a threat I dare not speak of.
No, Doctor. I won't let you, not before I check its condition myself.
Amiya.
Sorry. I know I'm being stubborn about it, but this is my decision.
The bridge, formed from countless strands of entwined information, stretches out into the distance to touch upon the singularity. Without the slightest hesitation, Amiya steps onto it, her first step outside the walls of the boundary. A surge.
This feeling. It's like the information has formed some sort of great wave. But why?
The closer you get, the denser the information will become.
It really is like Teresa said. The information here has mass. We'll most likely find greater resistance the deeper we go.
We need to come up with a better plan.
I can't maintain the stability of a bridge this week. Going this deep has taken a greater toll than I expected. I need to keep going forward, as long as I follow Dr. Cowsit's beacons.
The silver mountains the T-Kaz had entered flit by her. The black shadow cast by the Fahrenheit plunging into the ice field vanished momentarily. She sees more scenes fly past her, as if she were fighting the current of the river of time. More and more incomprehensible, indescribable sights assail her mind. She does her best to block out the unending chaotic stream of information.
Concentrate, Amiya. Concentrate, just keep focusing on Dr. Cowsit's beacons. Press onwards. I just need to touch the singularity.
Silence. Amiya cannot even hear her own breathing.
What is this place? That giant sphere is disintegrating.
Looking at the shattered sphere makes her feel dizzy, but it is the bizarrely shaped floating ship in the air that causes an even greater bout of lightheadedness.
What is going on? Why am I seeing?
As she is trapped in her spell of dizziness, a rotating boulder slowly but inexorably hurtles towards her. Its black shadow quickly fills Amiya's vision. She subconsciously tries to defend herself, but it is immediately followed by the feeling of free fall. Did she fail? Was it a surge of information? Amiya!
Doctor.
Here. Amiya senses a hand supporting her, keeping her thoughts steady by bracing her. I've got you. Sorry, I couldn't sit back and do as I was told.
Doctor, thank goodness. The moment just now.
You do your best to support her shaking body as the information wave surging from the singularity continues its assault. The information, so dense it has nearly taken true shape, washes over your thoughts, leaving behind jumbled after images in the void. It is the past long gone, the present being recorded en masse, and what seems to be the future foreseeing your next steps. It's a shame that right now you do not have the energy to spare to pay it any heed. The two of you have already made a long, long trek from the boundary to this point without even noticing, and now, the singularity. The singularity is right in front of you.
Did you see that terrifying scene earlier, Doctor?
I did. I don't know what it means, though.
I'm certain it's not something that took place on Terra.
But at least it means we're getting closer to the singularity. Can you still keep going, Amiya?
Yes. Yes, I can.
You are well aware of the situation you are in right now. Despite knowing it will have minimal effect, you still subconsciously stretch out your arm to try and shield Amiya. The attacks here are focused on our thoughts. I can handle it. I've got a lead on what we're here for. I'll run the calcs on Cowsit's access records. You can read the key points from my mind.
Found them. Using Slumber Bridge as a filter, Dr. Cowsit conducted a total of 79,346 searches. Although all the searches are related to Oranginium, according to her speculation, this data is not strongly related to its actual essential nature. If the results are restricted and gives us nothing, doesn't the trail run cold here?
No. Cowsit retrieved the same entry over and over again. This is in itself some information for us.
I've repeated retrieval. Wait. In the infinitely looping code, 8 from the repeat query can't be deciphered too. You already know the answer, Doctor.
Yes, it's a familiar name. Perhaps it's a sign. Perhaps it's a warning.
I've never heard of this name. Neither you nor Kels had ever said it before. Priestess. Doctor, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I'm afraid so. Priestess. You have never seen this scene before, much less seen unknown language. You're here. Is that me? I took some time to refine your designs for PRTS. I thought you had gone to take a rest.
No, I've been thinking of your words this whole time. There is no language that can describe God, as the existence of God itself cannot be understood.
You know, that was just mindless chatter.
Suppose I take it as an axiom. With it as my starting point, would creating a language that can describe God mean we have the means to understand it? Does the prospect not excite you? Perhaps, in the pursuit of the answer to this question, we have been going down the wrong path, trying to understand the nature of the universe with its own laws.
You want to use a language wholly created by us to interpret the universe. A far too audacious idea, Priestess.
Yeah, isn't it?
Without any further hesitation, she traces a perfect rhombus in the air. Rhombus. Is the rhombus the symbol for understanding God?
Let's begin, shall we? What are they discussing, Doctor?
You have seen this woman before in the assimilated universe. She once accompanied you. But I have faith that when you are truly confused by everything, you will remember the answers you seek were here all along. I will be here. I'm afraid they're discussing Oranginium.
Limit the enemy's choices.
Well, I guess yeah, the
forcing
rhombus
them
is
into unwitting
orange,
traps.
is like the symbol of Oranginium,
A
it
familiar
seems. But
style.
also, is that supposed to be the understanding of
You
God?
really don't
If they
remember anything.
create an entire universe, are they not the gods
Sooner
of
or
it?
later, you'll have to face yourself. So think carefully. Bear in mind, this time, I'm ready to correct your mistakes.
This is great. I want to keep going, but probably should stop there. They are long stories, but they're good. They're good. They're good. I'm not feeling the length, you know. I'm in it. 100%. One more? No. We'll be back tomorrow.
Ohayo, Doctor.
I'm just thinking about it. Why Hierda of all people? Why is she in that part of the universe? What is the presence? Like, I know I said that the like the elf thing might be like a translation, but Mulesy salutes too, doesn't she? Isn't Mulesey's main pose a salute? So what does that mean? That's too much of a coincidence to just be like, it's one thing to be like, yeah, a translation of like, they translated it into an elf, but then they made the character salute as well. And also talk about being the last of their kind. That's 3 things. I don't see how it's like what the relation would be at all, but unless here's a crazy thought. Orangenium is the storage of information into the simulated universe, right? Life on Terra and society on Terra, everything about everything on Terra came from the information within the simulated universe, right? That's why the countries and the languages are very reminiscent of Earth. That's why the creatures evolved into humans. So, if the presence is in Oranginium, its information's in Oranginium. So, is Mulesy just made from that creature's information? Like, she was just born and, like, somehow has its information, so she's kind of like it? And if so, that means that the people born on Terra could all be based after information of people inside Oranginium. Not one for one necessarily, like it's not like a reincarnation thing, but just the information from Oranginium was put onto Terra to create life, and it is recombined in different ways to create individuals. And just, you know, recombined, I just would like to point out that episode 15 is called Dissociative Recombination. I mean, I think that can make sense. If society is based after information pulled to create a simulacrum, an analogy of past Earth society, then wouldn't the people also be able to be like simulacrums of past information, past people? Look, Milceus is even winking. She knows. That's my theory. Let's see how it pans out. It would be it'd be a lot of coincidences for Mulesy to be like such a clear incarnation of that information. But in randomization, right? Statistically, it would happen. Not like some people would just be very close to like a past version, right? I mean, you see that in real life genetics. Some people, like, in all the possible combinations of genes that a person can look, sometimes people just look similar to each other, even if they're not related, because there's only so many combinations. Something to think about. That's all for today. Thank you all for watching, and until we meet again, may the sands of time treat you well.